Hi everyone, it's Jessie again with Cooking with Jessie. Today we're making something delicious in the little do-it-yourself section, but before that we have two previous videos, the peppered snail video and the palm oil stew video. Let's get started. Today, we'll be making something absolutely scrumptious, a delicious peppered snail recipe. Okay, so to start preparing the peppered snails, we have to, of course, boil the snails. So, in my pot, I'm going to put my snails. Into the pot they go, spread it out. I'm going to put a few onions in it, not all of them, because I already have my onion paste. So here's my onion paste. I'm just going to scoop some onto it. I find it's a good solution for anyone who doesn't like seeing onions in their food. So I get 2 stock cubes, sprinkle it all over. My pepper. So a lot of people find snail nauseating, so it's going to be very important that you add and sprinkle enough pepper so that you don't get nauseated. So my thyme, my curry powder, just a little bit of salt because I've already added stock cubes, so that, and my ginger garlic paste, just for an extra flavor, you understand? Because I love my food flavorful. So I'm going to, so I'm going to put my water. So you put the water just until it's almost covering the snails. So here's how, get those. Oh, what's wrong with this jar? So I'm going to pour my water, not to flood it, just there. That should be enough. And I'm going to boil it until the snail is just cooked. So here are my snails that have been, ooh, ow, why did I touch it? Here are my snails that have been boiling for 20 minutes, and I can see that they're perfectly cooked. So I'm going to transfer them into my bowl before moving on to the next stage, which is the sauce. So I'm cooking this. I love this peppered snail recipe because my dad loves peppered snails. It's his favorite appetizer, and I personally like snails because of him. He introduced me to snails. My mom made it one day and it was absolutely delicious. So you guys have to try this recipe at home. So I'm going to bring out all my snails and then set this aside, and then we'll get frying. So here I have my hot pan and I'm putting in the oil, just enough to coat the pan. It's not hot enough, so I can swivel it around, just enough, and I'm going to wait for it to heat up. So while we're waiting for the oil to heat up, I'm just going to talk a little bit about snails. So snails are very proteinous, very tasty, but it's quite hard to clean because it's very slimy. So people use hot water, some people use alum, some people use salt, some people use lime, and all of these are effective ways to clean it. But for me, I just let my mom clean it because I don't like anything slimy. So let her do the work, then I fry and all of us eat together, okay? So my oil is hot, and then I'm going to put my snail to fry in the hot oil. Ooh, actually it's hot. Oops, water. Wow. So here I have my snails frying, and I just want to mention that you have to be careful while frying snails because the oil splatters a lot and you could get hurt. So be very careful. Ooh, see? You have to turn it from a distance and just remember safety first, okay? So I like frying mine until they're crispy and hard because I like that crunch in the sauce. So you can also just not fry it and go ahead with the sauce. It's up to you. Together. Okay, so my snails are nice and crunchy and nice and brown. So I'm going to put in my onion, my chopped onion. Going to put in my onion paste and my garlic and ginger paste. Stir that a bit. Get that all in there. And then I'm going to put in my spices. So here I have some curry powder, a bit more pepper. Sprinkle it in. Okay, so I've added all most of my spices, and now I'm taking my pepper mix. So this is some bell peppers, some tomatoes, my tatashe, all those peppers, and I'm going to put it in to my snail. Stir this a bit, increase fire, and now I'm going to add things real quick. I'm going to add my thyme. What's that? Some salt. Oops. 1 stock cube. And last things I'm going to add my crayfish, because I like adding it because it just gives it another roasty, toasty flavor. So now I'll stir, turn, and I'm going to increase the heat and let all the water from the tomato pepper mix to reduce a bit. Okay guys, so I've fried the tomato pepper mix until it's reduced in size, and I'm going to stir this, and right now it smells like heaven in this kitchen. You wouldn't believe how delicious this smells. So I'm going to turn this, and then my last ingredient, some bell peppers. So I have red, yellow and green bell peppers for a punch of color, and it also adds a distinguishing taste. So it's delicious and it's just a must-have for me. This makes it my special recipe. So I'm going to stir this in. And since the bell peppers are vegetables and they cook really fast, just a few seconds, 2 minutes tops in the pot. Wow, this sauce looks delicious and I can't wait to serve this and taste this. I'm sure you guys enjoyed this amazing episode. I really can't wait to serve my dad this amazing food. I'm very sure he's going to love it. And we're back from the peppered snail video. I'm very sure you guys enjoyed it. Give me your feedback, give me a few comments on my social media handles. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to click that notification button. Okay, it's time for the DIY, and I have something very sweet for this DIY. I am making an amazing baking essential. I am making brown sugar. So what is brown sugar? Brown sugar essentially is a mix of molasses, which is this dark liquid we have here, and white sugar. And that's the quick homemade way to do it. Now, if you know brown sugar, you know there's light brown sugar and there's dark brown sugar. Light brown sugar has a little less molasses content than dark brown sugar, and I'm going to be showing you my recipe for making both, okay? Like I said, we need our white sugar and our molasses. All we have to do is get mixing. So, I guess I'll use this beautiful floral pattern bowl for the light brown sugar. I will get about half a cup of sugar, So basically, brown sugar is an essential baking ingredient in things like chocolate chip cookies, gingerbread, but brown sugar is actually it gives a lot of caramelized flavor to whatever you're making, and sometimes once in a while I add it into my sauces for my noodles, just give it a bit of a thickness and a bit of sweetness. So next up we have half tablespoon of molasses. So what I do, I use I've used a full cup, like this is half a cup actually, but a full cup. Let me find it. Yeah. So essentially what I do, I use a full cup for light brown sugar. I use a full cup for 1 full tablespoon, and then if I want to make dark brown sugar, I use 2 tablespoons. So because I'm using half that amount today, I'll use this half and half of this spoon for the light brown, and this half and half and the full spoon for the dark brown. So let's start with the light brown. And essentially, all we have to do now is mix. So at first it might look like it's not mixing, but I assure you, just keep blending and the results will start to come about. So mix, mix, mix. It's already blending. So you can see it might start looking like it has some clumps of molasses in the sugar, but just keep going and eventually you will get your required consistency. Now there are many brown sugar recipes out there saying 1 cup equals 2, 1 cup equals 3 tablespoons, but this is the measurement that I use, and I find it quite appropriate for me. So mix, 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 and mix. So as you can see, it's almost mixed thoroughly, and you can see a nice light golden color coming from the molasses. And this, my friends, is light brown sugar. See, it's that simple. It's quite easy to make this stuff at home instead of just always buying from the store, from the supermarket. And I love making my own ingredients at home. So that, my friends, is a beautiful light brown sugar. And now it's time to get to the dark stuff. Now we have the more intense flavor of molasses. Another half cup. So half cup, just a little bit more. And we go full half tablespoon of molasses this time. We want everything. Yeah. So like I said, dark brown sugar has more molasses content, makes it darker. And you can already see that it's taking on a much darker tone than the light brown sugar. So you might see some dark brown sugar darker than this, and that's because it has essentially more molasses. I'll just scoop everything else that is inside this in there and essentially mix it. Mix. Make sure everything is thoroughly mixed. You don't want some clumps of molasses as well mixed in there. So, and guess what, guys? That is brown sugar made at home. This can be stored in your cupboard for 2 months or more, and you can keep using this. You can make them in a bit bigger batches. All you have to do is use proportion to like change the amount, but it will essentially give you the same thing. And brown sugar has a tendency to clump, so what I would do is put a slice of white bread into our brown sugar, and essentially that will help take any more moisture that's trying to accumulate, and that will leave our brown sugar nice and separated and fine. Okay guys, that was brown sugar. That was an amazing sweet DIY. You can use this for any of your baking. Let's get into the palm oil stew. Today I'll be making something very special. My palm oil orishi stew that I'll be making with a few proteins like my cow skin, my tripe, my goat meat, my beef and other protein. Let's get cooking. Okay, so here I have my hot pot, and in it I'm going to put my palm oil. So as you can see, it's a bit congealed, and I'm going to put it into my hot pot. Hear that sizzle. Always very satisfying hearing that as you cook. So I'm going to leave my palm oil in the pot to melt down and then bleach. Now my oil is bleached, and you can see all the steam and smoke coming out from the pot. So that tells me it's time to add my onions. Just blow steam away. And it's quite hot. So now I stir. So now we're going to add my onion paste. Put it in. And stir that. Just heat a bit. I'll stir that, and now I'll add in my ginger garlic paste, just a little bit of that. Stir, and I'll increase the heat a bit so it can fry a little bit. Stir it in. So I'll stir this, stir, and leave it to fry for about 2 minutes, and then I'll carry on with the rest of the sauce. Okay, so now it's fried, and now I can put in my tin tomato paste. So these are my pureed tin tomatoes. Put it in. And now I'm adding my tomato pepper mix. So this is my tomato blended, and I've heated it up on the fire to reduce the water a little bit. So now I'm putting that into this. Stir it around a little bit, and now I can add my spices. So here I have my curry powder. Put it in. 2 stock cubes. A pinch of salt, and some thyme. So I'll leave that to fry. So I'll leave that to fry until the water is completely reduced. So the water is mainly reduced, but stir this. And now it's time for us to add the orishi, the protein. So here is all my protein. I'm going to put it into the stew. I have all my meat and my protein in here, and I'm going to add just a little bit of water. Get in there. And I'm going to leave this, wait, just a little bit more. And I'm going to leave this to cook. I'll leave it on high heat for about 5 minutes, and then my stew is done. Okay guys, my orishi stew is done and dusted. It looks and it smells amazing, and I can't wait to taste this. I'm very sure you enjoyed learning how to make this delicious recipe. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and see you next time on another amazing episode of Cooking with Jessie. Bye for now. Today I'm making something special.